Hello. Hello. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Hope everyone have been having a very good week. We wait for another 3 minutes to start our session. If you have any questions, you can post it here. I can collect your questions and respond and give you answers later on together. So this week we have had a lot of students get their 90s or 80 plus or 79 plus, and I believe a lot of you guys in front of your phone, your laptop, you're happy to hear other people pass their 90 at the same time that you want your own 90s. I believe you can get it because we are in 2019. It's a good year. You ended up with 9, so you will have your 9. Yeah. Okay, so we have a lot of you guys. Your name is a bit difficult to pronounce. I will do my best. We have Anupa Sis, Sharanjit, Banu. Banu, don't you just pass your exam? You still like a live session, isn't it? Okay. And then we have Sauma is here. And okay. Nasim. Wait, 1 more minute, then we start. So there are a lot of questions. I will just quickly check if there are more questions so I don't miss them. Yeah, that's it. All right, let's start the class. So hello everyone. So my name is Shani. I'm here to answer some of the questions for helping you to get your 90. Hope my tips will help you. If there are any confusions, please let me know by leave the comments in here. I will be more than happy to explain to you in a better way. As you know, I'm not a native English speaker, so I did learn English halfway. My explanation might not be that good for you, but please, if you have any comments or feedbacks, please let me know. I'm really happy to improve and to help you more. Okay, let's start from our first question from Sang Pradeep. So your question is, if you're wondering all the materials that we provide you in the Google Drive or the forecast will be enough for you to get your 79, and your answer is yes. From the forecast from Sauma, from the weekly forecast, and also from all the online courses and also the Google Drive, all the materials are enough for you to get your 79, but make sure that you need to practice them well. So I give you a quick summary about how to use those materials. So in that case, you can have a better schedule when you're studying. So let's start from your speaking. So in the speaking part, unfortunately, repeat sentence is something that very hard to predict, even though you practice a lot. But you might have repeated questions 1 or 2. You don't normally have a lot of repeated questions for your repeat sentence. So repeat sentence in other ways is more based on your practice. Let's say this way, practice makes you perfect. So make sure that you practice a lot of your repeat sentences. So repeat sentences and better number of practicing is if you're someone that you work very hard and you work 8 hours a day, you should practice repeat sentence 30 every day. Practice 30 repeat sentences is not about, say, you practiced 1, you listen 1, you don't know the answer and you check the answer. That's not going to help you. You need to listen 1 sentence roughly around 5 times until you roughly can remember 80% of the content. And then you check the answer. And then after that, you will understand, okay, roughly I know the meaning and I will be able to repeat. And then you check the answer, see which part of the word I'm not able to remember or which part of the word that is really difficult for me. And then you remember this sentence and then you go for next. So basically for each sentence, a sentence that's around 12 or 15 words, you probably need around 4 or 5 times of listening and then you can go to next one. And as for your describe image, to be honest, is something that is very easy for you to practice. So practice all the 1 folders of your what is called describe image. You practice each image around 5 or 10 times until you memorize the format, and you will be good enough for your describe image. As for the retail lecture, there are so many sources from our Google Drive or from YouTube or from a lot of study websites that there are enough for you. It doesn't mean that you are going to have a lot of repeated questions for your retail lecture, but if you are practiced enough and if you're very comfortable and confident for all the sources of your retail lecture, then you'll be good. For each retail lecture, it's better that you listen once, take notes, and then you practice around, let's say, 4 or 5 times, and then you go for your next task. But you need to know why you're not getting the notes. Or is that audio too fast, or you're not fast enough in taking notes, or your notes are too random, or you're just trying to write every single word. You need to be very picky on taking your notes. Your notes needs to be meaningful. Take the keywords. And apart from that, something about read aloud. Read aloud is a little bit different to your describe image. Describe image is something that you can improve within a week, because as soon as you memorize the format, you start to practice, you'll be fine. But read aloud, it does require you practice a little bit more. So you need to practice every day, because for read aloud, most of us, we are not English native speakers. So we do have accent, and certain words we're not able to pronounce well. And the way that we pronounce certain words, we have our own accent. So under this case, that you need to practice every day. The best way of practicing a read aloud is read aloud every day in the early morning. Morning is the best time to improve your pronunciation, because you remember well and you know how to improve that. And after that, so this is the way that you work on the materials from the Google Drive on your speaking. After that, it will be your writing. For the writing part, you have enough writing summaries, and you do have essay list. So the easy way for you to do is, first of all, go home and memorize all your essay templates. You don't need to write all the essays. Work on the most repeated essay questions. Each of the essay, write once. If you're someone type really slow, I encourage you to type every day 1 essay. If you're someone that your essay on average you're okay, you memorize your format, you write 10 essays, you'll be enough to go. And for the summarized written task, you have 1 folder that you have around, let's say, 36 of the summaries. So you need to practice the 36 summaries at least 3 times. It doesn't mean that you need to memorize the answer. If you're someone that you always go to look for the answers and memorize the answer, I'm sorry, you're not able to deal with the difficult question, or you're not able to deal with the new questions in the exam. The materials for you and the method for you are for you to understand how do you apply the methods to a new question. So in that case, when you have a new question, you know how to deal with it. So practice them around 3 times. And read aloud of your answers. And after that, it will be your reading. Reading, the difficult part is you have your multiple choice, single answer, multiple answer, and you always have your fill in blanks and your reorders. Reorder, you have all the different sets of practices. So each set you should practice around 5 times. And fill in blanks, you have so many fill in blanks practices. If you haven't practiced your fill in blanks around 3 times, I'm really sorry. You are a bit too slow and you didn't put much hard work on that. For reading fill in blanks is really difficult for most of us because as a second language speaker, we are not using English every single day. And at the same time, what happens to you is you're not reading books every day. So if you're someone reading books every day, obviously your blanks will be better. But if you're not reading books every day and you're not speaking English every day, you are just here for your exam, unfortunately, you will find this really difficult. So the best way for you to do is you're going to practice your read aloud anyway. And read aloud is hard to predict for the real exam. So the best way is practice your fill in blanks, time yourself. Each fill in blanks roughly 1.5 minutes. And afterwards, you're going to read aloud your fill in blanks because you need to improve the sense of how to get a correct words because it's unpredictable that you might have difficult words in the exam. So you need to read aloud, build up your sense of those words, and then you will improve your fill in blanks. And after that, it will be your listening part. Listening part, we do refer to you a lot of audios and other sources of how to practice your summarized spoken test. So for that way, what you can do is practice summarized spoken test. And what you can do is listen to audio, write down your notes, and each of the audio, according to your notes, write 5 different summaries every time. Because every time when you write a summary, you actually write it with a different grammar or different ways of writing. And you need to make sure that you double check your writing. On top of that, dictation is a must. So every day, 50 dictations, minimum 35. And you need to read aloud of your dictations around 5 times. In that case, you can learn your mistakes and you can remember those dictations. Dictations from our forecast, I can say is 100%. You will have them in the exam. So it's a matter of your practice. If you want your 79, practice. There's no shortcut. For this PT, we are here to give you guidance. We're not here to give you magic. If we can, you just come here, we'll give you magic. You know, everyone can pass within 2 seconds. So end of the day, that it's all your hard work. So please make sure that follow the instructions that I just give you now and use well of the Google Drive and also the forecast. 100% you'll be fine for 79. Okay, next question. So, okay. So you said if you can use this graph image, you use a common format. So there's a beautiful picture in front of me, and there are a few lines, keywords like highlights and lowest each in this graph image. If you're someone that you only need 65 or below, yes, it's fine, no problem. You can use this common formats as long as you're fluent. But if you're someone here, you need 79 plus, or you need 80, you need 90, you need to use our format. Our format is very simple. So I'll quickly give you an introduction about this graph image. This graph image is an easy task, but it's not just a describe image. You need to cover some key contents. The question asks you, if you go through the marking guide, they ask you to describe an image in front of you. You need to tell about what is this picture, what is about this picture. You need to include certain important contents. If you simply use a common format, you know, there's a big, beautiful picture. You didn't even tell what is this picture. It's a bar, graph, line, pie, map, or picture, or process. So you need to identify what is that. We talk about in detail a little bit, but not too much detail. So if you need a 79, your content doesn't matter for the describe image. So please use the format. You need to have the title. You need to have the data. You need to mention the graph type. You need to mention the minimum 3 significant factors. And you also need to talk about your conclusion. Okay. All right. And WFD. Okay. So you was asking if we have the prediction files of right from dictation audios. Okay, so I can do you a favor. I will record all the prediction 5 right from dictation audios for you tomorrow. So you will be able to get all the dictation audios tomorrow. Okay, so you will just need to drop your email. Later on, we'll post a message for you guys. So you just need to drop your email here. So I will record all the audios for you. And this is a bonus, so we don't normally do the recordings. So if you asked, so that'll make your life easier. Next question. Prediction file WFD are enough for the exam. The file Usman has mailed from January to February. The prediction file, apart from that, I believe we do share with you the normal dictation file. So use both. Forecast from January to February. At the same time, you also use the normal dictation file from the listening practice. So both 5, that will be enough for you 100%. And okay. So next question is repeat sentence. A lot of you guys have found the repeat sentence is something super difficult, which I understand. I'm not a person who loves repeat sentence that much. Repeat sentence, you do have longer sentence. Normally you have in between 8 till 18 words nowadays. So most of the case you have either 10 to 12 questions. Out of these 10 to 12 questions, you have roughly 8 sentences that are normal, which is less than 10 words or roughly around 10 words. You will have either 2 or 4 sentences that are a bit long, in between 12 to 15 or maybe 18 words. So listen carefully. When you have a longer sentence, first of all, you can identify from the audio, which I mentioned last week. If the back counting says recording starts in, if you see 7 or 8, and then the back counting into 0, that means you are going to have a longer sentence. So the best way for you to do is to remember the beginning as much as you can. So if you are able to remember 8 words, then just remember the first 8 words, no problem. And afterwards, what you need to do is remember the last 4 words. If you found the last 4 words, it's really hard for you to remember. There's a shortcut for you. So try to write down the last 4 words on your notebook. I know you might think, okay, this girl is crazy. Ask me to take notes. Why repeat sentence? I can't even remember what's going on there. So practice. It does help you a lot. So remember the first 8 words or the first 6 words. You can take a short notes for the last 4 words. Write down on your notebook. When the sentences are too long, you are going to forget the middle part. You just talk whatever you have in a little bit of faster speed. Whatever in your mind and plus what's on your notes. So you roughly will be able to talk around 10 to 12 words. Then that will be enough. But if you're someone you are not capable 100%, you can't take notes, nothing, then unfortunately you need to remember the first 8 words, and then you need to remember the last 3 words, and then you just need to talk in a very confident way. Like, even though you don't know, but you need to behave like I know this. You just need to talk whatever in your mind. You don't need to worry about whether you're missing some contents or not. So a particular example, like what I normally talk is up till now, a lot of people spending a lot of money enjoying their life need to be careful with their money. So this sentence is really long, right? So, but we can remember this beginning part. Up till now, a lot of people are spending a lot of money. You're missing the middle parts. It's fine, just let it go. But the ending part is need to be careful with their money. That's fine. You just link them together. Up till now, a lot of people spending a lot of money, careful with their money. So we still be able to get some marks. You can't get all of the marks because you are missing contents. But at the same time, you are fluent and you're a little bit faster. So the computer will not be able to be so fussy on picking out your mistakes. They will only be able to recognize, yes, you missed a few words, but roughly you get more than 80% of the content. Then you'll still be able to get a good mark for your repeat sentence and also your listening. Hope that will help you a little bit more for the repeat sentence. Repeat sentence, basically remember the beginning part, the first 6 words or the first 8 words, depends on how long you can remember that. And afterward, if you are able to, please write down the last 4 words. It's easier for you because you just need to use what's in your mind and talk what's on your paper. If you're not able to take any notes or write any words, easy. You just need to remember the first 6 words and last 4 words. And then you just talk in a most fluent way. That would do. And repeat sentence is something please practice every day, 50. If you are too bad for your repeat sentence, then practice 100. Okay. And Elham, if I pronounce your name wrong, I'm sorry. Okay, so now you have a question about reading material. So reading multiple choice, choose multiple answer, and reading multiple choice, choose single answer are not important. Even though you get all wrong, you will still be able to pass your rating because you get your rating mark not just from your reading. So you get your rating mark from your speaking read aloud. You also get your rating mark from your reading, and you also get your rating mark from your writing, and you also get your rating mark from your listening. That means reading is difficult, but you have support from every single part. So don't worry about your reading. And in particular, your multiple choice, choose multiple answer, multiple choice, choose a single answer. Even though you consider all the multiple choice as your single choice, which I recommend you to do that, you will still be able to get your 80 plus, okay? And then for the method of multiple choice, choose multiple answer, choose single answer. Because they're not important, what you can do is 1 minute for one question, 1 minute for one question. So when you practice at home, the easiest way for you to do is time yourself, 1 minute, one question. So automatically you know how long it is 1 minute. Okay, now let's talk about your answers. How to do the multiple choice, choose multiple answer, multiple choice, choose single answer. Easy way. So whenever you have a multiple choice, choose single answer, you can see you have questions and then you have a list of options. So in front of you, each options, when you have the circles, that means it's your multiple choice, choose your single answer. It's very easy. Read your question first. The question normally asking you certain keywords, which one is correct related to a certain keywords. Read the keywords, take the keywords back to the passage, read the following 3 sentences, your answer will be there. If the question asking you what is the main purpose, main point, or starting point, what is the author's initial thought or opinion, and in this case that in another word, the question is asking what is the topic sentence, then read the first 3 sentences. Your topic sentence will be there and your answer will be there. If the question asking you what is the conclusion of the author, what is the overall thoughts, then obviously the question is asking you a conclusion. Simply just read your last 3 lines. And keeping in mind, this is an exam. Whether it's this PTE exam or immigration officers, no one wants you to get your mark as soon as possible. Only us, we want you to get your 79 as soon as possible. So PTE, immigration officers, they don't want you to get your results as soon as possible. So they make the exam difficult. So in another case, whenever you see one of your options have the exact same sentence or similar contents from the passage, 100% that is wrong, because life cannot be too easy sometimes. It's easy, but sometimes they make it difficult. Okay, so one more time. So if you see something from the passage and that sentence is exactly same appeared in one of your options, that will be the wrong answer. Never choose that one. Your correct answer, you need to paraphrase certain sentence from the passage. Okay, for the multiple choice, choose multiple answer is very simple. First, again, read the question and find what does the question asking you. The question most of the case asking you certain keywords. If they ask you a keyword, it's a lot easier. You just need to take the keyword back to the passage and then read the following 3 sentences after those keywords. But however, there is a shortcut for you. Sometimes the question does ask you which of the following answers are correct in related to the passage. So if this is the question that you get, you should be happy because you don't need to look for keywords. You start to read your options. See which of your options have something that is really special. See which of the options have certain time, year, number, name, or animal, or any color, something that is really easy for you to see. So you will consider these things special as keyword, and you look for the original passage to see which part of the passage I can see the exact same time, or the exact same date, or the exact same color, or the exact same word or name, or anything with capital. And then you read that current sentence. If that matches, the meaning matches the answer, then that will be the correct one. If the meaning is not matching, then that is wrong. So that's your multiple choice, choose your multiple answer. Again, you can't choose them as your single choice. Just choose them one, because the longer time you spend there, the more likely you're going to get it wrong for the second one. So 1 minute, 1 answer, and you get your 79. Okay, next one. Kamal, you said in the writing session, do we really need to enter 2 times of the enter space? Okay, maybe you haven't done much practice. So in the writing essay session, so you have this square, triangle, rectangular shape, square box, you need to type your essays in. So you write 1 paragraph, you press the enter key twice. It's not 2 lines of space, it's 1 line gap. Twice enter key, 1 line gap. Okay, twice enter key, 1 line gap. Not 2 line gap, 1 line gap, 1. Okay, and then another one is make sure that you start your sentence at the very beginning of the box. Don't leave any space or anything from the very beginning of the box when you type. And then it's 4 paragraphs, not 3, not 5, 4. Okay, Kamal, you have another question about your speaking. You said you found the speed in the speaking varied in each session. Sometimes in read aloud, you're a bit slower. Sometimes in your repeat sentence, you're slow. You're not fluent. and in describing image, you're a little faster. Retail lecture, again, you don't know what to do. You lost your fluency and everything. Okay, let's talk about your speed and your fluency in your speaking part. Speaking part matters to two things. One is your fluency, one is your pronunciation. Kamel, I believe you're a gentleman, so you don't need to worry about your pronunciation. If you are here as a lady, your pronunciation might be something that you need to improve, because we naturally have soft voice. So when it comes to speaking, we have to talk very loud and we literally scream. This is a wrong method to improve your pronunciation. Pronunciation doesn't mean screaming. It's just a deeper voice. It's just like something that when you talk deeper, so the computer or the microphone can catch you in a better way. So for the speed, let's talk about each session. Yes, it's fine if you change your speed a little bit. You make your speed a little bit different for each session, that is fine. But make sure that within one session, you don't have different speed. Let's say, for example, in speaking, describing image, normally you talk a little bit faster. The reason behind of that is you have a format and you memorize this format. When you memorize something, you can talk things faster because you know what is the next content. That's why you talk faster, but make sure that you don't talk too fast. I'll give you an example. The given presentation is a picture and it is providing the image of the data. The data is given in the form of colors, as you can be clearly seen from the demonstration that there are some variations, but towards the beginning it is visible that the first factor is share 4 digit VP. If you talk something like this, like what I just showed you, it is too fast. You just need to talk a little bit faster, but a normal way of fast, like this. The given presentation is a map and it is providing the clear reflection of share of world GDP, PPP, 2011 World Bank ICP. The data is given in the form of colors. So like this is okay. You're a little bit faster, but you need to make sure that your pronunciation is a bit clear. Your words are not really pronounced as short, or your words are not connected with one or another. At the same time, make sure that in the speaking part, your repeat sentence, you can talk a little bit faster, in particular when you have the sentences that you know you missed certain words in the middle. So you can talk moderately a little bit faster. So in that case, the computer will not be able to understand your mistake. I'll give you an example. Normally you say, Professor Smith is going to be late for today's lecture, but somehow you know you missed certain words. So you can talk a little bit faster. In that case, the computer will not be able to recognize your mistake. Professor Smith is late for today's lecture. So I missed something, but the computer will not be able to recognize those mistakes, okay? As for the read aloud, because read aloud does share mark with your reading and your speaking, so you need to have a good fluency and a clear pronunciation. The problem is whenever we have clear pronunciation, you lose your fluency. The problem is that you think fluency, pronunciation is about slow speed. No, fluency is pronunciation is about a clear pronunciation, and you pronounce things in a precise way. For example, if you have certain words are really long, persuasiveness. But if you pronounce really slow, some of you pronounce like persuasiveness. Too slow in read aloud, the computer will recognize the persuasiveness as 2 words or even 3 words. And in this case, you are going to lose your reading mark. And that is why a lot of you guys are talking in a very slow pace, but you say that I'm really slow, I talk very clear, but the problem is why I don't get my good reading mark, because you break the word from 1 word into 3 different words or maybe 2 words. I think today I haven't leave a comment or reply you on the Facebook. One of you guys left a recording, so I did listen to your recording. Your recording is a bit too slow, so make sure that you talk a little bit faster. And faster doesn't mean speedy. Like yellow is the most optimistic color, yet surprisingly people lose their tempers most often in yellow rooms and babies cries more in them. So this is a bit too fast, so you need to reduce your speed, but at the same time clear. So some of you say, okay, I'm going to reduce my speed. Like yellow is the most optimistic color, yet surprisingly, people lose their tempers most often in yellow rooms. If you talk something like this, yes, you are too slow. Optimistic, you pronounce this word, sounds like 2 words, then that will be wrong. You will not get much mark for your reading. So talking in a normal speed, don't consider this as an exam. Consider something that you're talking to a friend or someone, your natural speed. So yellow is the most optimistic color, yet surprisingly, people lose their temper most often in yellow rooms and maybe cry more in them. That will do. You just need to be louder on top of this. And as for the retail lecture, because retail lecture matters for your listening, make sure that you talk your retail lecture a little bit slower than your describe me image, because your keywords needs to be pronounced very clear. Otherwise, you will not be able to get your listening mark if your keywords are really sticky to each other. Okay, so keep in mind like this. So in the speaking part, if you have any session that you do one job but you share mark with other parts, that means you need to slow a little bit. If you speak one thing but you only get mark for that particular session, then you can talk a little bit faster. That is fine. You can relax a little bit. I hope this answer your question, come on. And yeah, so within each session, you have your own speed. That's fine. But don't make a huge variation. Like one session you're extremely slow, another session you're extremely fast. A little bit of variation, that would be good enough. Okay. Okay, next one, we have the reorder question. So your name is 𝗏𝐾𝐾? Maybe. I'm really sorry if I pronounce your name in the wrong way. So you have a question about, in the forecast file, there's a demo, development and British economy reorder. So you want me to help you to solve this one. Okay, for that reorder question, they have certain times that I use. They said at the turn of 19th century, and then there's a second sentence mentioned about, let me see. Okay, so the reorder paragraph is like this. They say at the turn of the 19th century, and then the second sentence talks about for each of the three major countries of Western European, Britain, France, and Germany, closing decades of the 18th century. And then you have another sentence that it could be a mistake to call the other two countries underdeveloped in terms of cultural achievement. And then number 4, it talks about even 2 decades later, the picture was a little different. Expect that cotton had become the country's leading manufacturing industry. So you asked me to do this reorder paragraph for you. So first of all, you see there are decades. So 18th century obviously should be before 19th century, because end of the 18th century and at the beginning of the 19th century, obviously the 19th century should be after the 18th century. So 2 and 1 should be a pair, and 2 should be before 1. And then after that, when you see 3 and 4, number 4, it talks about even after 2 decades, 2 decades later. So you can consider which 2 decades. Is 2 decades of the 18th century or 2 decades of 19th century? Doesn't matter which one. The 2 decades should be after both of them. So that means number 4 is after 2 and 1. And you can see 3 and 4, which one should be after, which one should be the last sentence. Number 4, there is something mentioned about become the country's leading manufacturing industry. Which is the country? There must be a country that they talked about before. Number 4, they have had become the country's leading manufacturing industry. So there must be a country that they were focusing on before. And which country that they were focusing on before is Britain. So 2 and 1 only focus on Britain. So obviously, number 4 should be after 2 and 1. So you can certain that 2 and 1 should be your topic sentence, and then 4 and 3. So your correct order is 2, 1, 4, 3. Okay. And next one, write from dictation. Okay, write from dictation, there are slightly changes. You somehow have more questions. Sometimes you have less questions. But anyway, write from dictation is extremely important. I can say, okay, write from dictation is crucial for your 79. First of all, write from dictation, you do get 1 word. You share your marks to your you share your marks to your writing and for your listening. So when you do we did a test, online test before, we only did write from dictation. We had 4 sentences and we get mark for listening 35, and I got writing for around 38 marks. So that means I do 1 job, but I actually get marks for both of that. If I have 4 sentences, that's roughly I have 40 marks. That means I get around each word 2 marks. I get 1 mark for my writing, 1 mark for my listening, okay? Because I share those marks for both of my listening and the writing, roughly 35 marks. And then you get partial marks for both of them. That's very, very important for both of your spelling and your sequence of the word. So you need to make sure that whenever you practice your write from dictation, even though you miss the small articles or the, you need to come back to listen one more time. You need to remember why you made that mistake. Is that because you couldn't hear it, or you just automatically you missed it? If something that like you automatically missed it, that means you need to pay attention to those small articles. And make sure that you memorize those certain sentences. But you memorize is one thing. In the exam, it does do the exam does do certain variations for the exact same sentence. Originally, maybe the question had the, but when you listen to the real exam actually take the off. So you need to be able to improve your skill, like to listen whatever you hear, not to listen what is in your mind. If you listen what's in your mind, then you are imagining the sentence, but the exam might have some variations. And apart from that, dictation is something that you really need to practice a lot. The best way I encourage you to do is to take the initials or the first three letters. The initials is very easy. It's a bit difficult at the beginning. If you practice every day 50 dictations, after 5 days, if you still not be able to do your dictation, you tell me. I guarantee you'll be able to do it. Every day 50, and read aloud this 50. After 5 days, you are able to do initials. It's just a matter of practice for that. Okay. You need to have the exact same amount of the word for the write from dictation. If you have more, for example, the original sentence is 10 words, and if you wrote 11 words, you are going to get penalty mark for writing too much. If the initial sentence is 9 words, but somehow you wrote 8 words and you missed the last word, that is fine. You only just lose the last word mark. But somehow if you miss the word in the middle of the sentence, and yes, unfortunately, you are going to lose a lot of marks for that sentence. And Hisham, I think I answered you for your repeat sentence question. So repeat sentence one more time. Repeat sentence, you need to practice a lot and try to remember the beginning part of the word and the last words. If you're able to write, just write the last 4 words. But if somehow you're not able to write down the last word, if you're someone that you can only memorize the conclusion part, the ending part of the sentence, good. You just write the beginning 4 words and remember as much as you can till the end. So you can do 2 ways. Remember the first 6 words or 8 words and write down the last 4 words, or you write down the first 4 words and remember the rest in your mind. And then look at your notes and remember from your mind. That would do. So it does require a lot of practice for your repeat sentence, and keep in mind whether you know or you don't know, you just need to talk in the way that you know, fluent. Doesn't matter how many words you have, you just need to read those words in your mind fluently. That would do. Next one, read aloud. Okay, read aloud is something that you need to, the pace of your read aloud varies. It depends on your natural speed. Sometimes when you talk a little bit slower, you'll still be able to manage to talk, but somehow when you talk a little bit fast, you will still be okay because you're someone that your pronunciation really clear. So in the read aloud, keep in mind that you need to pronounce each word clearly. In particular, those words had ending variations. ER, ED, MENT, SOR, IST, ISM. Those words need to be pronounced very clearly. And in particular, those words you don't want to miss. Or the, or of, or in, or on. You have to have them. Don't miss them. Don't ignore them. Don't change them. Read aloud like the one that I said before. If you're someone talk like this, yellow is the most optimistic color, yet surprisingly, people lose their tempers most often in yellow rooms and babies cry more in them. You'll be fine. But if you're someone talk like this, yellow is the most optimistic color, yet surprisingly, people lose their tempers most often in yellow rooms. You will still be fine because you're fluent and you're clear. But if you're someone talk a little bit slower than this, you will still be okay. Yellow is the most optimistic color, yet surprisingly, people lose their tempers most often in yellow rooms. So this one is a bit slower than the previous 2. You will still be okay as long as you are consistent. But if you're someone like this, yellow is the most optimistic color, yet surprisingly, people lose their tempers most often in yellow rooms. No, this is a big no. because you are read word by word, because it's a speaking part. You still need to read something sounds fluent. So make sure that you don't pronounce word by word. You can connect the pronunciation together, but not eat those words. You still need to pronounce this ending part clearly. Next one. All right. Niche. So you said you booked your exam on a certain date. I'm not telling you because it's a secret. When you keep your exam date as a secret, you can have a higher chance to pass your exam because you keep your luck for yourself. You should, what kind of things you need to focus on remaining days? So you have get your result before 78, for your speaking, writing and reading 73, and listening 72. So first of all, you need to work on your summaries. Please double check your grammar and your contents for your summarize written task. At the same time, summarize spoken test. Summarize written task, you need to have your 3 contents. You need to have a topic sentence, body contents, and conclusion. Summarize spoken test, you need to have, again, topic sentence, conclusion, and you need to have explanation of the topic sentence plus your new idea of the topic sentence, and then your conclusion. Make sure that you double check your grammar, and please do not paraphrase. Just keep yourself very simple, very direct. Your sentence should be very sweet. And please work on your dictation. You might have small mistakes on your dictation, or you might just memorize all the dictations, but at the end of the day, you had a sentence that the original sentence had the, but in the exam you didn't have the, but you added. So small mistakes you need to avoid in your dictation. On top of that, please practice a little bit more about your repeat sentence every day, 60, and then practice your retail lecture. If I can do a favor for you. If you're not sure about your retail lecture or your repeat sentence or your writing summary, I just do one favor for you because your exam is coming very soon. So you can post one of your summaries or one of the audios. I am happy to check you, okay? To see if there's any mistakes for you. So post that, whether it's in the messages or under the Facebook contents. Just post one each. Yeah. Okay. You said if there's any changes for the 2019, 100% there will be, and it's coming very soon. You need to be very careful. If you don't pass your exam soon, or if you're someone that you don't practice, or you think, oh, I'm going to take my exam in my next school holidays, which will be May or June, you are going to prepare the new changes. And you are going to prepare that there will be a lot of new questions. The changes actually already happening. A lot of students have experienced certain questions have changed the numbers. You know, originally the question might have 10 questions or 12 questions. Nowadays, you might have 3 or 5 or 6. And some questions you might have 4 or 5, but nowadays you might have 2 or 6. Certain questions, the marking guides might be changed. Those questions that have variations those questions are important. You don't need to worry about your multiple choice, single answer, multiple answer. They won't have big changes. What's going to change can be your repeat sentences, can be your dictations, can be your highlight summaries, can be your summaries. So as for the really precise changes, we will notify you if we got any precise all the materials and all the updates, but I'm giving you a hint now. So there will be changes on certain areas that I have just mentioned. And of course, if you don't take your exam as soon as possible, you are going to have a lot of new questions. The new questions is coming on the way in a very short time. And obviously, it's after your exam, Nishi, so don't worry. Next one, Nasim, you said in the repeat sentence and in the write from dictation, you messed up with your articles all the time. And okay, the articles, what happens in the repeat sentence, if you miss your articles, or the, doesn't matter, because you talk a little bit faster, those words cannot be recognized very clear by the computer. So in the repeat sentence, don't stress too much. But if it's in your dictation, unfortunately, they're really, really important. So make sure that you can double check with your grammar. If there's any particular nouns, then most of the case, they have this the. But there's no such guarantee that you have to have a the in every noun or proper noun. So the best way is you practice the forecast, and you need to listen each sentence roughly around 2 or 3 times. So you listen once, you write the initial, and then after that, if you have certain words you're missing inside, you need to listen to this audio again to just double check if you missed a certain word. If you think that you didn't miss any word, everything's good, you write down the word completely and then you check the answers. But somehow there are certain words you wasn't sure whether you have articles or not. What you can do is you listen to audio once, you write down the initials, and then you listen to audio again just to double check if you had in articles or not. If you don't have this article, you need to listen to this audio again to see why you missed this article. Were you thinking something else while you're writing the sentence? Are you actually analyzing the sentence? Or you actually listen to the sentence based on your understanding? You write your own sentence. If that is the case, then 100% you are missing your articles. Basically, we need to behave like a robot. We listen the word and we just write it down without thinking, without analyzing. Stop picturing things in your mind. And yeah, so let me see if there's any other questions that I can help you to answer. Okay. Okay, that's not working. The correct order for the reorder, if you still want to know the correct order for the reorder, the first sentence is the 18th century, the second sentence is the 19th century, and the third sentence is even 2 decades later, and the last sentence is the sentence starting with 8. Okay, Julius, sure, I will announce the answers again in this Facebook. So in that case, you'll get the correct answer. Okay, so in the write from dictation, you might have difficulties in terms of the last words. So you might miss the last part of the word. Say you missed the word has ending er, es, s, or ed, or ly, or y. So under this case, it's something that when you write your initials, so I normally write capital words as initials. After that, I write, if I hear anything about students, I actually write capital S and small s. So I know this word is a plural. If I heard anything with past, so I write a capital the first letter. If I heard anything with ed, I just write ed at the end. So I know that such word has passed. So in that case, you will be able to differentiate the singular, plural, or past, or anything. So make sure that when you take your initial, write a capital initial, and then if you hear anything changes, just write S or ED. But somehow if you hear there's a noun and there is a R, 100% is a R. So you don't need to write S because you know it's plural is R. So you can use your grammar to check that one. Double check the rest. Yeah, so okay, I mentioned the correct order again. I will post the correct order of that reorder on the Facebook, and then in that case you won't miss anything. Yeah, I believe I have answered all your questions, everyone. So if you have any other questions, please let me know. Or if you have any doubts on certain practices that you want us to help you to check, just simply post your questions in the Facebook. So in that case, we can have a look for you, whether it's your recording or your summary or your essay. Just bring them in. So we will help you to have a look. So, okay, so today we're up to here today. Hope all of you guys study very hard and eat well, sleep well, have a very good weekend, and smash your 90, and all your dreams come true. Bye-bye.